Hey guys, Skyway Trader here. Continuing on with my fun journey with Apex. This is April 22nd, 2025. Just want to go over and do a trade recap here of my trades for today. So just want to give a bit of context. So price basically started moving up here, okay? And we had this kind of uh, sell off, kind of came down. We took out a major low right here, and we inversed on the 1 hour while also being inside this very, very large imbalance on the 1 hour. Okay, so my bias is bullish. We have all this LRLR that has been developed and just waiting to get hit. So my thought process was this is probably going to happen during one session, not wait for New York, but I was kind of wrong, but it still worked out. So I was kind of right, but kind of right, kind of wrong. But I'll get into that. So, anyways, so first setup I took was at around 3:40 New York time. Got an inverse. We took out these two lows within this imbalance here. Um, we took out these two lows and formed a 15-second inverse fair value gap, which got sped through with lots of momentum. Uh, and so I took the entry, and price basically went in my favor. Got to my break even, and then I moved my price to break even. I took profit here, and I had stopped out at break even right over here. But I chose to re-enter because we had inversed this guy as well in the process, and we returned to that inverse and we showed respect. So I got in again, thinking that it would continue up for these highs here. However, price came and stopped me out pretty quickly. So kind of just waited for price to kind of do its thing again, and again we saw. Um, Price kind of take a low out, and we're still within this imbalance here. So I'm waiting for that entry. I took an entry as we inverse this here, and uh, I had a pretty big stop loss here, and that also got hit. So a couple losses right off the bat, and then finally we created this 2 minute inverse, closed above, and I took entry, stop below here, and price went in our favor, took TP right at this point right here, one TP or one mini off, and then got stopped out in profit right around here. Um, so a good win here, but again, still aiming for this high. This was this imbalance. There's a 1 minute imbalance right here, and then I was aiming for these. These were my targets. This is target right here. I was hoping to get that hit, um, but didn't quite go all the way. So we create another inverse and another inverse. And so I took this um, entry, but price failed to get to my break even here. And so I basically got stopped out at break even. I think I went break even just because I was like, this should have went through, but it started like pulling back on me. So I was looking for this liquidity to get run through pretty aggressively, and it stopped short and started coming back at me. So I moved the stop to break even just to be safe. Or did I think I probably moved to break even after this. Yeah, that's probably it. I moved break even here, but I didn't take profit because I was looking for these relative equal highs to get taken. And when they didn't get taken, I got stopped off break even. That's what happened there. So this is yeah, another entry right here, inverse for value gap created here, stop or closed above. Again, went back into the BISI. These relative equal lows taken out. Um, so two minis, and again looking for these relative equal highs, did not get them. Price fail or hit this here. I didn't take profit because I'm thinking, oh man, it's gonna hit these now. That was my first take profit. Uh, but nope, did not. But I trailed my stop this time and took stop loss and profit. Again, another inverse here. This one was on the 1 minute within the inverse for value gap. So I was expecting it to finally go, took out these lows, but again, it actually ended up stopping me out right here. At this point, I was like kind of I was stubborn, but I got this SMT at the inverse, and I was like, okay. Oh no, sorry. This pullback happened within this imbalance here. Created an inverter value gap on the 1 minute. I took entry, still aiming for all of this liquidity. One, two, three, and four. Um, but price basically stopped. So I was thinking this was the chop. We broke above it, and so we were basically going to, at this point, like you know, this was the move I was hoping that would break through all this, but it didn't. And I was just kind of chasing this, and I ended up holding it because I knew that like we were in such a huge imbalance. We're obviously bullish because we inversed back down here and we created a new balance up here, uh, and we had so much LRLR waiting over here, and like I mean, way even beyond like all this up here. But like I was completely bullish, but I mean, I management of this was terrible for sure. Definitely wouldn't hope to do this again, but entered over here on this inverse and basically held through all these sell stops. Um, and then finally got the turnaround like 8 o'clock in the morning. Finally, like so, like basically at New York session started, New York AM session started, and that's when price finally started to begin to move in my direction. Um, so you know, from this trade itself, like I would just be like, dude, this was not manageable at all. But it did end up like I mean I had conviction, so I held. But yeah, I mean I was like at this point I was so tired. I knew like finally as this was going like this is gonna get hit, this is gonna hit, this is gonna get hit, and yeah, I just said you know what I'm going to sleep because I had been awake. I had been awake for so long at that point. But my target that I was targeting over here finally got hit, and I was like, okay, I'm good. So I took three uh, take profits here, and called it a day. But I'm not proud of this trade. I knew the bias or whatever, but I have to remind myself that at this point in time I should have just taken this loss and walked away. I'm not sure. I didn't have a hard stop, I believe, and that's what it was. And I kept believing that it was going to go up. after SMT here, and then I think we formed another SMT somewhere here. I was like, okay, it's got to go up. It's got to go up. And I kept watching it go down lower, lower until finally this was swept. And once this got swept here, we and New York session started. That's when we started saw the turnaround. So we just basically ended up accumulating at the end of London and after. And usually, and the other thing, the other thought process is that if you have accumulation during a certain session, which London ended right here. So we had this accumulation. So I'm looking for a long move between the sessions right now because of this accumulation. And this happened to me last week, or like earlier either this week or last week too, where this accumulation occurred right at the end of the session after a big move, and I interpreted it as okay, well, we're going to see a move after the session ends. But in fact, it accumulated through the end of the session and between sessions, and then finally the move happened at the next session, the beginning of the next session. So this is a this is a trend that I need to keep note of, and I need to be aware of going forward because this was just waiting through all this was hell, honestly, like mental hell. Um, so yeah, I definitely definitely learning, still learning, even just despite being in the funded phase, still learning, still picking things up here. And I'd be damned if I said that journaling doesn't help because just going through this, talking through it, this is gold. This is learning 101 right here. This is the best way to kind of uh, take these concepts and bury them into my brain. So, and I hope you guys get value out of this as well. So, I'm gonna leave it there, um, and talk to you guys later.